Welcome back. Got ourselves just a little project here that I picked up. This is one of those, it's a piece of junk, doesn't work, gonna throw it away deals, which is perfect for me. I love junk, especially when I think I can get it to work. This is a Cosmo fertilizer spreader, or seeder. You can use whatever. It's a crude machine, but for what they are, they work well. By the looks of this thing, I'm going to say, though, the guy has been using this strictly for fertilizer and has not washed it afterwards. The thrower blades are pretty rusted. I was told PTO shaft seized, gearbox does not turn well. Well, I pulled on this and it does kind of move, but then it locks, and even though it locks, there's movement in the gearbox. Something is loose inside there, or something stripped out. The other thing is this PTO shaft. This end moves nice, but this, I cannot straighten this out. This is a solid. This cross kit here is not moving, this U-joint. It's rock solid. Also, these levers are seized, and I'm assuming it's because they're corroded inside here. Those are little doors that open up for the grass seed or the fertilizer to go through. They are stuck in an open position, but they do not move. So just flip it upside down here. This is a crosscut that's seized, and actually I can see that there hasn't been a grease nipple in there for a long time. And so the water from the fertilizer has probably dripped in there and corroded this U-joint. I see it is removable, so we'll try to take this off the shaft and see if we can fix it. Now this is the gearbox here that's in question. They're pretty crude gearboxes as well. They're not filled with oil, they're filled with grease. So we're just going to pull this apart and see if we can get this working. Now I'm going to disclose a little bit of information here. I've actually built hundreds of these for a company I used to work for. So I didn't go into this blind. I know exactly what's wrong with this thing. And I figure I can fix this for about 25 bucks. And it's going to be running perfect. I also have other U-joints that I've had in storage here in a junk box for about 15 years. Because some of them came with extra ones. So why not keep them? The gearbox as well. I have bearings for this gearbox. And I actually have a new set of spline gears that I've kept for 15 years. Because, yeah, I like to collect junk. And so you never know when it's going to come in handy. And lo and behold, I come across one of these old spreaders. Now, this one was originally from Tram Sales in a place up by Edmonton, Alberta. They still make these. All the parts are still common. The only thing I don't have is inside is a little beater wheel that spins around to help agitate the seed or the fertilizer. They were like, I don't know, $32 back in the day. But it doesn't even really need it. And if it does, it's very easy to make one. So I'm going to try to yank this PTO shaft off and pull that gearbox out. And here we are. Got this beast out. The gearbox does turn. Now that PTO shaft isn't stuck hitting up against the frame, I can turn it. It turns quite well. But it's clicky inside, so I imagine it's a little dirty. Cannot get this to move at all. So it's a bit of a struggle to get it out of there. We had to completely take her apart to get her off. I just gave those handles a little whack. They ain't coming out right at the moment. But now we got to try to get all the cross pins out. We got one holding this, I don't know, pot metal aluminum cap on. And then there's another one down here holding the disc on. Then we'll try to push them off just to get some stuff out of the way. Don't have to put this gearbox in a vise, get a hammer, and try to bang that PTO shaft off. Well, that was a bit of a chore to get off. Aluminum and steel with a hardened roll pin, they don't mix. But in doing so, within the vise, I managed to get the PTO shaft to go straight. Not that it is going to go back, but at least it's straight. But I did get that off. Now, got to try to get up under there and knock that roll pin out and get this disc off. At least this way I can clean the shaft a little bit before I try to pry that over it. Well, things aren't quite going as planned. This keyway, or this roll pin that's in here, this disc is actually twisted. One end popped off. You see it here? This side popped off, now there's a hole left. And this one's actually in there and kind of around the corner a little bit. So, and I tried getting this off here as well too, try to make it easier getting in the vise. Not working. So, tearing the gearbox apart, I can take the snap ring off the end, take the gear off, the bearing off, seal, everything can come off this way, and I get this into the press a little better and push it through. This side though, there's a keeper here on top for the seals in the ring, but the only way for this to come out is to go down. And unfortunately, there's a snap ring underneath that bearing. So, I have to think about this for a bit here and try to figure out how I'm going to get that shaft out. So, we get everything apart. Actually, the bearings are perfect. Even the room gear is perfect. And because this gearbox is filled with only grease, we'll use that seal again too. But I got it all apart, all cleaned up, bearings running smooth. The shaft is in good shape. Though for me, kind of trying to get that apart, kind of dinged up the area where the oil seal is going to sit. So I'll just have to go over that with a fine file and clean it up a little bit. And then I'll clean this up as well. So now it's time to try to get the PTO shaft out of the PTO. Now I pulled all the clips from this cross kit. I'm going to try to get down in here first, but this is the one that's seized anyway, so either way this has got to come apart. It's either coming apart in pieces, or by chance maybe I can press it out, pull the caps, clean up the bearings and get it working again. But if it comes down to it and I can't get it apart, I'll just smash this cross kit out. I can put this yoke in the vise and then pound that shaft out. This cross kit is one that I do have somewheres here somewheres. I actually have the cross kit, set of bearings, and those worm gears. But we'll try to get it apart one piece. I'd love to reuse it again, because I can always use the cross kit down the road if the other end blows up, which is over here. Which I realized that this moves nice and smooth, but somebody, for some reason, is putting paint marker all around here. So I'm not quite sure what they were doing. Not quite sure what's going on. But completely disassembled the disc. These are all our parts that were kind of accumulating here. Quite a mess for a small area. Had to stop for a beverage and a little snack. So we'll continue on here. I'm going to try to press this joint out. There we have it. The ball joint press. We managed to get that cross kit out in one piece. She is rusted. The bearings are, well, I shouldn't call them bearings, but it's a little bushing inside these cheap ones. I can't even see it anymore. It's so plugged up with dirt and crap. So I'm going to clean these out, buff these up a little bit, use about 400 or 500 grit sandpaper, and see with a little rubber grease if we can get them moving smooth again. Well, to get that last half of that gearbox off, had to get a little aggressive. I beat so hard on this with a hammer at home that it mushroomed this right out. So I come into my buddy's shop here, I ground that down, and now I'm going to have to press this out with the big press, because what I noticed is where I was trying to pound out that what do you call that, a roll pin that you can see there, it spun inside the disc, the shaft. So that's a solid shaft there. So I'm not sure how this is going to come out. Well, it's going to come out. It just might not come out nicely. So all I'm going to do is press it out. But I did kind of run out of time on this little bit here. Like I said, most of the components are apart now. I got to press that shaft out. I still have the stub end of the PTO shaft to press out. I'm going to clean up that one U-joint. And then we'll see what they look like. And in the next video, hopefully we can get everything cleaned up and start going back together. So again, thanks for watching as always. Thumbs up. Talk to you again soon.